Wow. Well, different strokes for different blokes.
Perfect.
Hey there broskis, Urkin back here. But if you're new to the channel, this is the life of a broski, where I do sneaker reviews and unboxings just like this one. So if that's your cup of tea, hit that subscribe button. Now, I recently put up a picture on my story on the IG with this sneaker, and if you haven't already, follow me up on that. There is currently a Q&A video in the works, so if you want to get your question featured, hit up the IG and comment on that post. So I posted a little preview on the story when it came down to the voting, and there was over 100 people that voted. A lot of people like these, but without further ado broskis, on today's episode I am reviewing the Air Max Zephyr Photon Dust. Woi, this is different. Okay Google, what does Zephyr mean?
Here's the definition of Zephyr, literary, a soft gentle breeze.
Okay, that didn't really help too much. Now, according to Google, Zephyr means a soft, gentle breeze or a fine cotton gingham? Anywho, that is the definition of Zephyr, and I think they both sort of coincide together. Just because of the material on this upper, it does create that sort of breezy-like effect. But without waffling too much about the sneakers, first we have to have a look at this box, and it is my favorite box of all time. No, it is just your generic Nike red box. For a sneaker like this, you would think they'd make a bit more effort, but no. Now on the product sticker, it reads Air Max Zephyr, and the official colorway is Photon Dust, Black and Volt. So that's the box out of the way. Let's dive a little deeper into this silhouette. Oi, where do I start? So this particular colorway did release on the 2nd of December here in the UK, and this has pretty much gone under the radar. Now, I managed to pick these up for 160 quid on Foot Locker, and I will leave some purchase links down below, so you can always check out the latest prices and of course sizes. Now, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know how much I am a fan of the 720, and this sneaker does borrow so much from that Air Max. Now, the colorway that did debut this silhouette was that black and sort of gold yellow colorway, and I was gonna get it on release and review it very early for you guys, but I thought I'd wait a bit. That colorway just didn't do this sneaker any justice. Now, me personally, out of the bunch of colorways that have released already, that black one is by far right up my alley, more so than any other color. But this colorway, it does a lot for me too. The outlandish color blocking, it does make this sneaker pop quite a bit. But going around this sneaker, it is indeed the first Air Max to feature an air unit on the upper. That's right broskis, you heard me correct. Now, wearing this sneaker and actually reviewing this in hand, for me, in my personal opinion, it's one of the biggest gimmicks we've ever had. Yes, it does add a slight bit of difference to the feeling on foot, but in all honesty, it's more for aesthetic reasons than anything else. There is a very minuscule feeling of compression on foot, but overall, there's nothing really to scream about. But where I feel this sneaker really excels is this mesh material on the underlays. And on foot, this does add a lot to the comfort and of course that breathability. So this could actually be one to watch for the summer. Now, of course, we've got these different shapes to the textile overlays, which actually complements this sneaker's color blocking. Now, these air pockets on the upper are of course transparent, which is to see the Nike swooshes on both the side panels to the medial and lateral side, just in case you forgot what brand this sneaker is from. Now, we've got those roped black laces with this lace cage, which is something very refreshing. Now, on the tongue, which is something I haven't seen before on an Air Max, is of course another air pockets, which is also a nice little feeling on top of your ankle. Now this foam just on the midsole, it does feel like that Phylon EVA material, but broskies, don't quote me on that. Now this air unit might look a little familiar to some of you, and that's because it is indeed from the Air Max 720. Now this air bubble is still the biggest air unit on any Air Max, and a lot of people aren't really a fan of it, but in my opinion, I'm all for it. But finishing off to the outsole is a very wacky look. It's got all these various designs with the Nike swoosh bang on in the middle, but broskies, if I'm looking at it, it doesn't really look like there's much tread on this rubber, especially towards the forefoot. And if this is your daily beater, I actually kind of fear for you. The durability on this outsole doesn't really look that promising, if you ask me. There you go, broskies, the first look at this Photon dust colorway, and honestly I'm still trying to figure it out. I do want to like it, but in my opinion it's just so similar to the 720. Okay, so if I place these side by side, they do look very similar. Yes, the Zephyr has the air pockets on the upper, but it's more of a gimmick than anything else if you ask me. And the Air Max 720, it just looks like it means business. But broskies, let me know down below, out of these two, which one would you go for? Have you already picked one of these up, or even both? Leave that down below. So yes, the Zephyr does borrow a lot from the 720, but also in my opinion it does a lot different too. It has more of a sportier and utility look to it, just because of the cut to the tongue and also that tactile mesh that Nike are calling it. In my opinion, this does look like a better all-round sneaker. Now for me, the 720 is very much a true to size sneaker, but to my surprise, this one does fit a bit too tight for my liking. I got my actual UK 9 that I always normally go for, but if I had to go again, I would go half a size up. Now in terms of comfort, does it do it any differently to some of the Air Maxes out there? And I've got to say, this is actually a comfy affair. Now if you didn't like the 720s, I don't think you're gonna like this much either. It does have a very similar feeling, just that mesh, it does give it a slight advantage. And with some complaints of the 720 feeling like it suffocates you quite a bit, with this sneaker, you won't have that problem. Is it better than some of the greats, the 95s, the 90s? I'm gonna say no, but it's not far off. Out of 10 for comfort, I am gonna give it a solid 8.5. Now I've waffled on about what Nike are calling this tactile mesh, but I cannot sing its praises enough. I feel like if Nike brought out some of their iconic colorways, maybe a white and infrared, a laser blue, but I'd be happy with an all white version too. But when it comes to its breathability, that mesh is just spot on. Very impressed overall in terms of its ventilation, and dare I say it, it's almost on par with a Flyknit. Overall, for breathability, out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 9. Oi. I know some of you were waiting for this review, and thank you for waiting, broskies. But to buy or not to buy? That is the question. Now, like I have already mentioned, if you wasn't a fan of the 720s, don't even bother. This sneaker will give you 720 vibes. But to summarize this sneaker, honestly, I have no gripes with it. Even the added gimmicks of those air pockets don't throw me off one bit. The only thing I can sort of pinpoint and say I'm a bit worried about is that outsole. There doesn't look like much tread. And if you're a person that drags their feet very slightly, then you are in trouble. Now, as for the air unit, if you're asking, will it pop? Will it pop? I cannot give you a definite answer to that, but even by squeezing it, there is a lot more pressure in this air unit. So whether that adds to the durability compared to the 720s, I have no clue, honestly. Now, in terms of its design compared to the 720s, it does have a wider look from a bird's eye view. Just because of those added air pockets, it gives it a way wider look. And it's not really a deal breaker in my opinion, it's just something to note. If you're looking to get a 720, a 720 818, or even this one, it's these sort of slight differences that you have to weigh up. But to round up this sneaker, I'm actually digging it. That nice airy tactile. But to round up this sneaker, it is gonna be a buy. Reason being, broskies, other than being such a comfortable sneaker for me, that added airy feeling to the tactile mesh and the overall design, it just adds something new to your rotation. Whether the colorways are for you or not, that's something for you to decide. But broskies, I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. Are you a fan of this new Zephyr silhouette? Were you a fan of the 720s? Leave all your comments down below. And yes, you guessed it, I will be pinning the best one. Now broskies, just before I leave you and waffle on anymore, hit up the IG, comment on that Q&A post for your chance to get your question featured. But anyways broskies, that's enough waffle from me. As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and of course, until the next episode, take care.